Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with some of the colleagues here.
Dave.
Nate.
And today we're going to offer up a player tip, and we wanted to let you know that it's okay to be cliche. So basically, the idea here is, there are loads of character archetypes out there, and a lot of people feel like, oh, I want to play the Elven Wizard, or I want to play the Dwarven Fighter. And it's like, oh, that's just so boring. Well, it's okay to make those choices, and you just want to, tweak a little bit or add something, unique or interesting so that your guy stands out, right?
Exactly. And you heard it here first from Nerdarchist Ted. He says it's okay to be boring.
I didn't say anything about boring. I said the cliche.
Well, yeah. So you got the Elven Wizard. Well, if you put that on your character sheet, you stat him up, and you're like, all right, I'm done. I know what an Elven Wizard does.
Yeah.
Then that's like that's not taking it far enough.
All those archetypes came from someplace, right? So they had all started somewheres, and they still exist, and they keep getting used over and over again. There's a reason for that. When something's is been used so much as now cliche, there's a good reason for that. It's good.
It works.
It worked really well.
Yeah,
like all
over
those
and
phrases
over again.
really made sense.
So like if you look at every option for building an Elven Wizard, it's probably been done stat-wise. It's been done mechanics-wise. But is there anything that you can do to make it, more interesting? Can you do it to put a spin on it that your group of friends, that your gaming table, hasn't seen, hasn't done before? Fifth edition, with adding the backgrounds, adding all of the different traits, can allow you to bend and twist those things in ways that are new, unique, and interesting, so that you can go back to some of those old things that you haven't played in a while because people just like, oh, that again. So I don't know. You guys have any? I would
agree. I was just thinking, High Elven Sailor, just that background archetype seems completely different than a High Elven Sage. Like where they live, what they do every day, everything changes about them.
So if you play a High Elven Wizard and him being a Sage background,
I automatically stick him in a library or a tower. Like, bam, he's there. He's in some city someplace.
But you take that same character and you say, well, now he's a sailor.
That changes everything. He doesn't wear shoes now. He wears Aladdin pants. He doesn't even wear a robe.
He might have a tan.
Is he a is he working with pirates, or was he working for, like, say, Captain Deuteron, on the Sea Sprite,
as a pirate hunter,
So you've got all different ways to tweak that, twist that.
Or is it just on a transport vessel?
There's that as well.
He pushes the wind for them when they need it.
So archetypes are a great way to start, especially if you're a new player and you're trying, you're new to the game. Well, you know what? Why put the extra pressure on yourself unless there's something really you're excited about playing, or maybe you're excited about playing an archetype. Maybe you're one of these cliches. You just got done watching a mega marathon of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and you are hell bent on playing a halfling rogue. You just need to do it. Do it. Go ahead. Have fun with it. Enjoy it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I think the thing is like, okay, the Elven Wizard, you've got, all right, he comes with a staff and a dagger and a belt pouch and something else and robes, and that's like, all right, he's ready. So we're getting away from that kind of pigeonholing of what they look like while still playing the cliche. Cliches. So yeah, halfling rogue can be done a lot of different ways. Pick urchin, and you're like, you automatically feel the city. You could be an outlander instead, and maybe you're part of a wandering tribe of halflings or some kind of nomad.
You could go with with any of the backgrounds there. Let's change it up and say that you were an acolyte. You actually were considering religion. Suppose that there's a church of life, and halflings are full of jovial energy.
But you decided to steal stuff instead.
But you couldn't get away from that clingy heritage, and you wound up trying to take something either from a parishioner or from
you got kicked out of the church.
And that's it. You got kicked out of the church, and it's like, well, clearly this was not meant for you. And you're like, well, all right, there's the local thieves guild.
So I think what we're really saying is take that archetype and just little tweaks. That's all you really need to do.
Yeah.
And you know, 5th edition really makes that easy with backgrounds, because you know your archetype is, okay, I'm a dwarven fighter, but then like you have to pick a background, right? And you could go, okay, I'm a dwarven fighter soldier, which is, you know, which
Cliche.
is
enforcing the cliche. But again, there's nothing wrong with it. You can make another choice outside of the mechanical that makes that character unique,
absolutely,
and interesting. You know, or you could reinforce it by choosing something from a background that's not enforcing that cliche.
Right. I mean, even in that example, because there's certain things like soldier and guild artisan would reinforce it. A noble possibly, or it could make it completely different. Like that's that's like a linchpin kind of background for, I think, certain races that could really either drive you more fully into the race.
Yeah.
Or
Are you
away.
upholding this, like the stereotype, the archetype of your race?
Yeah.
Or are you,
like,
you going off being a black sheep?
You could say that, you know, the noble fighter dwarf, you know, could be like Brunar.
Well, he could, and or you could go even further and really emphasize the noble part, and he could be, you know, insufferable, almost like an elf,
right?
To the point of, you know, dealing with other people,
right? So that's what I'm saying. It could go either way.
Yeah. So that's definitely, so there's definitely a lot of wiggle room. So, you know, I get the key takeaway I want people to get from this video is, especially if you're new to the hobby, don't be afraid to be cliche. And there's a great idea, Ted, for this video. You know, embrace it. You know, there's a reason why those archetypes exist, and there's nothing wrong with playing them. And you can adjust them and change them as you go. You know, you might have an idea. It's a jumping off point. It's a starting point. You know, it's an easy way to make the game more accessible for people who've never played before.
Yeah, and another thing, be happy with your decision and just have fun, because I think that's a big part of the energy of what you're going to bring to the game for the character. You know, it's playing a cliche, but playing it with passion. Like
we've all been gaming for over,
I really
over
want to
20.
do this. This is fun.
We've all been gaming for over 20 years. We've played such a variety of different characters. You know, but for the people out there who are, as Dave says, new to the hobby, or have been playing for a while and they've been itching on some of these designs because they've never played it, but they're like, the gaming group is like, oh God, really? So you're like, all right, well, I'll put that one aside. So, you know, yeah, just embrace it. You know, when you come to the gaming table, it's meant to be a fun hobby. It's meant to be, you know, something to enjoy. So if you don't enjoy what you're playing, then there's no real point in
there's
doing
only
it.
one person that has to be happy with your character choice.
You.
And that's you. I mean, as long as you're not being an a-hole and it's not disruptive,
right,
and it's not something that's going to break up the party and give your DM agita, then you only have to really make yourself happy. I mean, you talked about party composition, and that's a whole nother video we can do on player for player tips on ways to address that and handle that. But for the most part, you know, it's okay to be cliche. Play them if it makes you happy, and if it doesn't, don't.
Right. So what do you guys think out there? Put your thoughts, feedback, and additional motivations down in the comments below. While you're doing that, feel free to click like, share, even subscribe.
You can support us over on Patreon and patronize us in a good way.
You can also check over at nerdaki.com for some articles.
So until next time, stay nerdy.